Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our virtual coffee break today. My name is Megan, and I am a community engagement specialist with the All of Us program here at Marshfield Clinic. And we just kicked off our gardening campaign earlier this week, and today we're really excited to be here with Ella Janson. Ella is working as an AmeriCorps member through the Serve Wisconsin program. Her service placed her at Central Rivers Farmshed, a nonprofit in Stevens Point that focuses on building a resilient food community. Her primary work is aimed at volunteer recruitment and management for their growing programs and facility work. And with tomorrow being Earth Day and this month also being National Gardening Month, we're just really excited to hear from her about Farmshed and the Growing Collective. And so without further ado, welcome Ella.
Hi, everybody. Megan, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be able to talk to you folks about the Growing Collective, which is easily one of my favorite parts of my position. So just a little bit about me. As Megan said, I'm an AmeriCorps member serving Central Rivers Farmshed through the Volunteer Wisconsin or Serve Wisconsin program. This is my second year as an AmeriCorps member. So it's been really, really fun to be able to further dive into this nonprofit and this work and really get to know the volunteers as well as kind of like the work that is necessitated by some of our growing programs. So just really happy to be here to talk about it. To sort of give you guys a little bit of background, Farmshed has been around as a nonprofit since 2011. It was started by a group of community members who actually began meeting at a restaurant called the Wooden Chair in Stevens Point to have breakfast and talk about ways that they can support local farmers and agricultural programming in our area. So through those discussions then led to a series of public forums. The next thing we know, we were able to apply for some grants, receive funding, and then had the support of a fantasy writer, Patrick Rothfuss, who purchased our site that we then leased from. We had some help from the Midwest Renewable Energy Association, the Stevens Point government, or the UWSP, like SGA, their governmental organization, to give us a grant. And now we're now like 11, 12 years later, still working to develop these very same programs and really focusing on not only creating sort of cultivating a reciprocal relationship between the Stevens Point community and our local farmers, but also to address some of the growing food security needs that especially were highlighted during this last COVID pandemic. So my work, though, in particular, is less with our kitchen programming, which again has been a huge focus of ours more recently, but is specifically targeted at our growing programs. And the major growing program that we have is called the Growing Collective. So it started back in 2013 from a group of just community members who, it was actually 17 founding members who came together to plan a unique collaborative kind of group or program to grow vegetable starts together. So essentially, you can either start plants from seed or you could transplant like little seedlings into your garden. So they work to actually cultivate, as of now, 10,000. So we are currently growing 10,000 little seedlings in our greenhouse. Since the beginning, the group has really believed in shared work and shared decision making, along with a strong sense of community and collaboration. Through that, they really work to educate other growing collective members. A lot of people kind of come from different diverse experiences. So even though we started off with 17, we now have grown to about 60 members who take part in our programming. And sort of through that, everyone is coming with a different amount of background and kind of experience within gardening. So being able to make sure that all of our members are educated on how to actually like start the seeds, care for them, water them, what they need in order to kind of be cultivated into a larger plant later in their life is really important, as well as just like making other members aware of some of the resources that we have around. We host garden tours in the summer so other people can see what the other members in the collective are taking part in and using and how they are kind of sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Organizing their gardens and caring for those plants, and whether or not they trellis some or if they do any companion planting, which is like planting certain groups of plants, like Three Sisters is a great example of beans, corn, and potatoes. Planting all of those together can actually foster healthier plants in the long run. So using this as an opportunity to kind of educate other growing collective members is really fun. However, growing for ourselves is only one small part of the growing collective. So, though we do grow plants for our members, we also grow in excess of the plants that the members are interested in growing for a fundraiser plant sale that we have during Memorial Day weekend. So, it's a really super fun event that Farmshed's really gotten, has kind of gained some traction on recently. So this is the 7th year that the Growing Collective members have hosted this like large plant sale at Central Rivers Farmshed. And this year we are providing a greenhouse full of healthy, organically grown vegetables, herbs, edible flowers, and native plants that will all be available for sale for our larger community. So things have sort of looked a little different for the plant sale this past year. So in the response to the pandemic, the Growing Collective plant sale had to completely revamp sort of how they were going to plan on doing things. No longer were we able to just bring people into our greenhouse to shop around, but we instead moved completely to an online platform. So that was definitely a learning curve. So this year we're actually kind of well, last year we did fully online. This year we're doing a bit of a hybrid where it's going to be part online and then part in person, which I know a lot of our members are really excited about because some of their favorite experiences that they've shared with me is just their ability and the opportunities that they get to be able to chat with other community members who are just coming in and wanting to get some plants for their garden and possibly have questions about different varieties, and allowing members just to kind of share, or allowing those Growing Collective members just to sort of share what it is they love about the collective and what it is they love about gardening and these plants. So this year, just a little plug, we will be having our online sale open just for Farmshed members. So if you want to buy membership, I would recommend it, on Sunday, May 16th at 2 p.m. The sale will then open for the public on Tuesday, May 18th. And then when ordering, shoppers will be able to schedule pickup times, which will be May 22nd to the 24th. And then we'll be having our in-person sale the week following, starting on the 27th. And then for the couple of days after, leading into Memorial Day. So it'll be a lot of fun. Definitely a good group of people to kind of pick their brains of, or it's a good group to pick. The good group for you to pick their brains about, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Picking their brains about gardening is really helpful, I guess, is in short is what I'm trying to say. But I guess to chat a little bit more about just the collective in general. So in addition to just growing just vegetable starts from seeds, as I mentioned, we do grow edible flowers. And then we've recently partnered with Paul Sawinski, who works for UW Extension and helps to run the Central Wisconsin division of Wild Ones, which is a community organization, to get some native plant seedlings that we can also sell at the sale. These seeds include heirloom varieties, organic, and then we also want to include always unique varieties of tomatoes, peppers, herbs, and many more. So each member kind of at the start will create an order for themselves and then make the commitment to care for the other plants that we'll use in the sale. And then all of the profits and proceeds that we're able to gain from that plant sale then is donated directly to Farmshed for their programming to help cultivate, whether that's more greenhouse work or a lot of the kitchen work that we're doing with some of our food security programming and other things like that. So the Growing Collective is just one of Farmshed's many programs that's kind of cultivated in order to support the mission of growing a resilient food community. And overall, the collective in and of itself believes in collective leadership and group decision-making, collaborative learning amongst membership in order to strengthen our growing practices, strong communication, thoughtful planning, clear organization, and then with that, shared knowledge, experiences, skills, time, and resources. We also really try to cultivate diversity among our membership, and then organic growing methods to produce high-quality plants. Some really cool things to kind of note about some of those beliefs that the collective has. In looking at the diverse membership, we have a super, super diverse membership in regards to age and gardening experience, as I mentioned. Regardless of the experience that one has, they're able to still join the Growing Collective, even if this is their first year ever gardening. On top of that, too, we have individuals who have been gardening in this area for the last 40 or so years, and then other people who are still in high school or early college, who are just kind of trying to get a good look and understand what it means to have a garden and what it means to grow. So it really is a lovely program that really has grown in a lot of beautiful ways. And I think with each year, our membership really does continue to grow and get larger, which allows us to just bring in more people and more perspectives who potentially have different ways of growing or different kind of ways of caring for plants that they're able to share with everyone else. I guess in regards to the rest of it, like, you can find more information about our group on Facebook. The Growing Collective does have its own Facebook page, as well as Farmshed having a Facebook page. We do have our own website as well, which you can actually access through Farmshed's website. And on that website, we do have a lot of educational information and just stuff from our membership about caring for plants, hardening them off when you get them, and also just try to put other resources in regards to companion planting and the like. So, yeah. I don't know if there's any, I guess there probably can't be any questions taken, but I guess that's really all I have. I just want to thank you all for listening. And if you want to get involved, I would definitely recommend heading to our website for the plant sale or even coming into the greenhouse. Otherwise, we're always looking for members, and we do open up our registration period every January. So if you want to hang on for next year in 2022, it's a great group to be a part of.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ella, for giving a little bit of a rundown about the Growing Collective and Farmshed. I'm kind of curious, do you have any advice or encouragement for someone that, you mentioned the Growing Collective is members of all levels and abilities. What if any encouragement for someone that has never done gardening before but is thinking about giving it a try?
Yeah, I would say it's just better to dive in. I just speaking from my personal experience, am definitely new to gardening. My parents were always huge gardeners, but my brother and I never really participated. And then the last couple of years, I've just been gardening in my backyard in some raised beds, and I have learned so much. Like, my Brussels sprouts last year totally failed, but I now learned, like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should actually, like, the way I had them spaced, and also the other plants that I had them near, and the fact that I failed to lay a lot of compost underneath them really diminished their growth. So, like, even through your failures, you're able to learn. And on top of that, too, in being a part of the Growing Collective as a beginning gardener, it's really helpful because you're able to now have resources to go to of, like, hey, my tomatoes look really sad. Like, what's going on? What can I do? And it can be a little bit intimidating at first, and I was really sad that my Brussels sprouts failed. But I'm now really excited to grow them again next year or this year, and I feel like I'm gonna definitely get some veggies from them that I'm gonna be able to harvest. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
they just
great. Yeah, I think sometimes just jumping in and trying it out is the best way to learn, kind of on the
Yeah.
ground.
Mhm.
And then I know with the Growing Collective, members sign up and then they get plans for themselves. So then you mentioned they also are volunteering and donating their time. I'm
Mhm.
curious if you have to be a Growing Collective member in order to volunteer with the
So
program.
we do primarily focus on our membership specifically during COVID, just because we've had to limit the numbers that we're able to have in the greenhouse. But in years past, we would allow anyone to come in and help during a work day or help out with the plant sale. And I do still try to make those opportunities available to the larger membership or to the larger kind of farmstead volunteer force, especially for the plant sale, to come and help out and work in our greenhouse for a couple of hours. That being said, the only requirement going forward into next year will be to be a Farmshed member, to be a member of the Growing Collective. So it will be much more accessible. In the past, we have had program fees that folks have had to pay, but we just passed a new kind of proposal that was sort of spearheaded by a few Growing Collective members in order to alleviate those, like, larger program fees. So we're really hoping to make it more accessible so that it's less that folks are necessarily or folks are maybe potentially barred from volunteering because of financial concerns and having to pay those program fees, and instead it will just become a much more accessible program. But I do believe we'll continue to offer volunteer opportunities to non-Growing Collective members, even if you just want to come in for a Saturday work day and sort of see what it's like.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Elegant, for being here today. I think with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up, but we'll be sure to share some information about Farmshed and the Growing Collective in the comments for this video as well. So the information is really easy to find. And so for everyone watching, just continue to stay tuned to our Facebook page and Instagram for the gardening resources we are sharing this month. And thank you again so much, Ella. And I hope everyone watching has a great week and take care.